Key 1. Stoic. One of the key concepts that frequently appears in Stoic philosophy is the idea of living in accordance with nature. The Stoics often mention this, yet they didn't fully define it, leaving it open to interpretation. Does it refer to human nature, the external world, or perhaps a deeper metaphysical nature? Likely, it encompasses all of these, but I want to focus on one aspect that stands out and is especially relatable to us today: living with nature. This theme resonates throughout Stoic writings. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, beautifully described how stalks of grain bend under their own weight, or how he observes the wild animals, noting the foam at the mouth of a boar. Seneca too delves into nature, writing extensively about what we might today call biology or anthropology. Stoicism wasn't about being confined to dusty books or ivory towers. It was about engaging with the world around them. And that's something I deeply resonate with in my own life. I live on a small ranch near Austin, Texas, where I make it a priority to spend time outdoors every day. Nature isn't just a backdrop. It's a source of peace, happiness, and reflection. And for me, nothing brings more joy than spending time with my donkeys, Buddy and Sugar. Buddy, for example, was a $100 Craigslist find, and he's turned out to be one of the best investments I've ever made. Sugar, though moodier, is just as special. One lesson I've learned from them is simple but profound. Buddy doesn't compare himself to anyone. He's not concerned with being adequate. He just exists, fully present in the moment. This reminds me of the idea of human being, not human doing. Buddy isn't struggling to prove anything. He simply is. When I observe him, I realize how much we humans could benefit from a bit of that calm and mindfulness. Spending time with animals and nature is a kind of therapy. It calms the mind and helps us reconnect with what truly matters. The energy animals bring and the necessity of tuning into their moods has a grounding effect. It's no surprise that animal-assisted therapies are so impactful. Their presence teaches patience, mindfulness, and even resilience. Nature, in all its forms, offers countless lessons. For example, hunting and fishing might seem like simple hobbies, but they're full of philosophical insights. Patience, skill, and silence are all tested, as well as the ability to adapt and overcome challenges. Hunting, in particular, brings a unique blend of awareness and emotional regulation. The rush of the moment, the challenge of calming the adrenaline, and the deep satisfaction of honing a skill. These are lessons we often can't find in our day-to-day routines. Take hunting with a bow and arrow, for instance. The closer you get to your target, the more intense the experience becomes. The proximity to the animal, feeling its presence, hearing its breath, makes you acutely aware of the connection between yourself and the natural world. It's a reminder of how, in life, all our best-laid plans can be disrupted by the chaos of the moment. But there's something profound about practicing and refining our ability to maintain focus and composure, especially when it counts. In essence, Stoic principles come alive in nature. It teaches us resilience, patience, and a deeper connection to the world around us. The more we align ourselves with the rhythms of nature, the more we tap into our own potential for growth and tranquility. Key 1. Stoic mastering focus and self-discipline in high-pressure situations is an art. Whether you're facing a charging animal, handling a weapon, or making crucial decisions in the midst of chaos, the ability to calm yourself down, slow your thinking, and execute with precision is what separates success from failure. In archery, for example, many struggle with target panic, the overwhelming impulse to release an arrow too soon due to nerves or distraction. The key to overcoming this isn't fixating on the aim, but immersing oneself in the process. A great shot is not a reflexive action. It's a controlled sequence of movements, a closed-loop process where every step is deliberate, and you can stop at any moment if needed. Learning to control this process amidst adrenaline and pressure is a profound skill, one that extends far beyond archery into all areas of life. This principle applies just as much in the heat of a battlefield, in the intensity of a business negotiation, or when responding to a real-life crisis. The ability to override panic, regulate emotions, and focus purely on execution is what enables people to perform under pressure. Hunting, too, offers a unique lesson in patience, presence, and acceptance. It forces you to surrender to the reality of the moment, weather conditions, animal behavior, and factors beyond your control. The process itself is the reward, not just the outcome. Theodore Roosevelt once reflected on this idea, recognizing that the true prize isn't just the catch, but the journey, the struggle, and the connection to nature. This mindset aligns closely with Stoic philosophy. The Stoics, including Marcus Aurelius, often used hunting metaphors to illustrate discipline, resilience, and the acceptance of fate. The art of acquiescence, as Epictetus called it, teaches us to control what we can and let go of what we cannot. In a world that often prioritizes instant results and external validation, hunting and other challenging pursuits remind us that the real growth lies in the effort, not just the outcome. Beyond hunting, farming offers another profound parallel to philosophy. Ancient thinkers, such as Musonius Rufus, believed that farming was the most virtuous profession, one that required patience, hard work, and a deep respect for nature's rules. Unlike more exploitative or manipulative pursuits, farming demands responsibility. You are accountable for the land, for the animals, and for the cycle of life itself. It teaches resilience, dedication, and an understanding of the natural order, values that translate into every aspect of life. There's something deeply fulfilling about working with your hands, about embracing challenges that demand discipline and perseverance. In a world filled with shortcuts and quick gratification, these practices force us to slow down, to be present, and to develop a mindset of endurance. And that, perhaps, is one of the greatest lessons of Stoicism, learning to navigate life's challenges with patience, wisdom, and an unwavering commitment to our own growth. Key 1. Stoic, there's a powerful argument that the most fulfilling profession for a philosopher might be farming. Why? Because there's something deeply grounding and enlightening about working with the land and animals. The act of tending to a farm isn't just about labor. It's about immersing yourself in the rhythms of nature, paying attention to the smallest details, and practicing a type of presence that can be hard to find in modern life. It's about slowing down and engaging with the world around you in a way that sharpens your awareness and connects you to the cycle of life itself. Being outside in nature forces you to be present. As I walk through my property, I can't help but notice the small things, the tracks left behind by raccoons, the donkeys wandering behind me, and the constant awareness needed to keep an eye out for snakes. These aren't just random thoughts. They're part of a deeper connection to the environment that cultivates attentiveness. This is precisely the kind of presence Marcus Aurelius talks about in Meditations. He wasn't just a philosopher of grand ideas, but also one who noticed the simple yet profound details of life. The foamy mouth of a boar, the furrowed brow of a lion. It's this poet's eye, this artist's attention to life, that makes Stoicism so rich and practical. Winston Churchill, another great thinker, experienced something similar. In his later years, he developed a love for painting, something that took him outside of his usual ambitious and busy world. He wasn't running marathons or cycling through the countryside, but spending time observing nature through painting allowed him to slow down and really notice the beauty around him. The same is true when I walk through my land, even when it seems barren. Even when the drought has dried up the earth and the leaves have fallen, if I take a moment to look for beauty, I find it. The land doesn't look the same each day. It changes, and with it, so does my perspective. And this presence is what farming teaches you every day. When you care for animals, manage crops, and tend to the land, you can't help but be reminded of the cycle of life and death. Just a few weeks ago, I had to put down one of our cows. As I walked past the bones of the animal, it wasn't a reminder of sorrow alone. It was also a stark reminder of mortality. Life and death are interwoven. In the Stoic tradition, we are reminded of memento mori, that we are mortal that our time is finite. Working on a farm, you see this cycle constantly, sometimes in joyful ways, like the birth of a new calf, and other times in sorrowful ways, like the loss of an animal. It's a brutal, beautiful truth. Life goes on, and we are part of that flow. But there's something sobering about all of this, especially when we lose an animal, like our goat Biscuit, who died during childbirth. It was painful to experience, but even more sobering was the way our neighbor, with far more experience in farming, helped us clean up the aftermath. Afterward, he casually mentioned that he'd take the babies and the body of the mother to feed to his dog. It was a reminder that, in the grand scheme of things, we are just as mortal and vulnerable as any other living creature. Our egos and personal significance pale in comparison to the brutal realities of nature. And that's the beauty of Stoicism. It's everywhere. In the pages of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, yes, but also in the everyday life on a farm. It's in the small moments when you walk out and see something new, when you experience the highs and lows of life on the land. You realize that the philosophy isn't just about abstract ideas, but about applying them in real, tangible ways. The farm is where philosophy and life collide. As I reflect on my life here, I'm constantly reminded of the beauty and hardship, the joy and the sorrow. Some days, like today, we celebrate new life with the birth of a calf. Other days, we bury our losses or put down an animal that's too far gone. It's a delicate balance that mirrors Stoic teachings. Life is full of contrast, of change, of impermanence. Yet, through it all, Stoicism teaches us to stay grounded, to face what comes with grace, and to appreciate every moment, whether it's one of celebration or of mourning. This connection to life, death, and everything in between is why I find such peace in living on a farm. It's a constant reminder of the cycles that shape our existence, and it's where the philosophy of Stoicism truly comes to life. The lessons are in the land, in the animals, and in every season that passes. Life is short, so we must make the most of it, live with intention, and find meaning in every action, no matter how small.